If she wants to survive in this social circle, she better learn to fall in line.
This season, I'm coming for everything. I want it all.
Skye Squad, we are back in the building. And if you did not know, that is the commercial for my new book series, The Wickedest Wives. It's available on Amazon right now. I would love for you guys to go on over. I'm running a little promo on the Kindle copies. You guys can order paperback copies. You can order hardback copies off Amazon. You can get it all. And if you feel so inclined, I would love to get a review. I am trying to make this an Amazon bestseller. So help a brother out, okay? Help a black man out. All right, so let's get into the news, y'all. Oh, we got some new additions. Y'all like my lights? I think we had decided in the members video last night that we're gonna go with this color, but we can change the colors. Let me know what y'all think about it. Just a little something extra that we're trying to, elevate the production, baby. So let's get into the tea. All right, so first things first, we have got to talk about Married to Medicine. Now, we did a video on this yesterday, but I wanted to actually take you guys into the history of how this came to be. Well, really how the news came to be, because the tea was actually spilled on Carlos King's podcast. Now, Carlos has been spilling tea, okay? So Carlos was the person who initially spilled the tea about Dr. Contessa leaving and Anila allegedly being fired. Now, yesterday, we didn't know who was fired and who might have walked away on their own. But according to the streets and according to the exclusive that was provided to B. Scott that we're going to get into, Dr. Contessa left on her own. All right, so that's the first thing. So let's get into the Dr. Contessa of it all. Now, our friends over at Love B. Scott have an exclusive where Married to Medicine star Dr. Contessa Metcalf confirms her departure from the show, and she says that Phaedra will be a fun addition. So, the quote provided to B. Scott says, "I decided to quit after last season. I needed a break because it wasn't highlighting me as a doctor or as a mom. Plus, it's been 5 years. I'm sick of cussing and crying." Now, I told you in yesterday's video, guys, Dr. Contessa has provided us with a lot of explosive moments. I personally could have used more intel on how she and Dr. Scott got back to a good place. But I think after that season and then possibly what she has experienced this season, I can understand why she might want to take a step back. And listen, a lot of these cast members on Married to Medicine are doing the doggone thing outside of the show. So they don't necessarily need the show, which is what I like to see, is when people come on the show and they don't need it, okay? They don't need it. So our best wishes go out to Dr. Contessa with regards to moving right on along. She does indicate that she is neighbors with Phaedra Parks. Okay. She says, "I think Phaedra, who's my neighbor, is going to be a fun addition." Now, with regards to Anila, Dr. Contessa says she didn't think that Anila was a good fit anyway, and they didn't really speak outside of the show, which I think we can all pretty much agree with. Anila wasn't necessarily the best fit for this particular show. I understand why they might have brought her in, but I also understand that you got to still have a fit with these ladies who have been together since season 1. Like, this is a cast of women that have mostly been together, and it's a hard thing to do, to fit into this group in this way. So that's the tea. That's where the tea came from. And now we know who left and who was not asked back. Okay. So speaking of being on the show in general, we need to head on over to Dr. Gregory's page, okay? Dr. Gregory Lunsford, who you guys may know, used to be married to Quad Webb, but ultimately left the show after their divorce. So according to Carlos King, it is indeed a fact, as we had been surmising, that she the woman. Now, I don't know if they are married yet. Somebody let me know in the chatterization. I thought they was just engaged, but apparently she will be joining the show along with Phaedra, who is allegedly still dating that doctor. All right. Now, Phaedra, is you're gonna have to give us something more than some one-liners. Okay, we're gonna need to see your real life. Okay, Phaedra. Now, with regards to Dr. Gregory Lunsford's new boo, well, not really new, maybe new to y'all and maybe new to me, but not new to him. Her name is Tisha. So she will be joining, and as you guys can see here, we're gonna just go a step back, and you can see. Funny thing, you can actually see Dr. G posted up with Dr. Contessa and Dr. Scott. And so when we go here, you can go to her page and just get a better idea of who she is. You know, we got some glamour right here. I personally think she's got the looks. You know what I'm saying? She's got the feel. I think that she's going to be a great addition to the show. All right. A lot of people asking, are you and Toya related? So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But as you guys can see, I don't know if you can see it on this photo. Dr. Heavenly has posted in support of her on Dr. G's page. Dr. Simone has posted, you know, hey, gorgeous. You know what I'm saying? So they are really sending a lot of love her way, into Dr. G's way. And it'll be, again, interesting to see how Quad, you know, reacts to a lot of this and what Phaedra's role would be once she comes onto the show. I'm interested. I am very, very interested in this and seeing how this whole situation plays out. If played right, this could definitely be the drama that we have all been wanting. All right, so let's head on over to the neighborhood talk, because we got some news on some tea that have been spilt earlier in the week that I had wanted to talk about, but just didn't have the space between all these interviews. I did an interview with, of course, the Chris Bassett interview. We did an interview with Jamie Tyler. That'll be out probably tomorrow. Y'all know I like to do a little bit of, you know, cleanups and edits and stuff like that when I can. So it's just been a busy week. Also, just so you guys know, Basketball Wives, the review is complete. It will be out a little bit later today. So we have been busy over here. Not to mention, I have Good Day DC today at 11 a.m. for the Lion Lunch Hour. So I'll be there promoting the book. Okay. So we'll be doing all of that today. Busy, busy, busy week. And some more stuff coming up for Friday and this weekend. So keep it locked, baby. Keep it locked. But anyway, Porsha. Okay. Porsha. I got to take things over here first, because Porsha was on the Breakfast Club this week. I am enjoying these guest hosts that they are having. Nice to see some names popping into the building to, you know, as they, I guess maybe they're trying to figure out who's going to replace Angela Yee, or maybe they'll just continue to do this. I don't know. But it's interesting because, you know, Angela Yee did an interview with Tamron Hall, and she talked about, it felt like she was describing the lack of, you know, support behind the scenes and not having a lot of, you know, women in the room as it relates to maybe production on the show, and how people look to her to sort of maybe police, you know, Charlemagne and the guys. Now I'm paraphrasing, but I'll point you back to the actual interview that she gave in the description of this video, because it's also on the Neighborhood Talk. So shout out to them. But in this, you know, as the news broke about the Angela Yee story, Porsha was on the Breakfast Club, and she felt like Tamron Hall kind of put Angela Yee in a position to have to answer the questions the way that she did. Porsha feels like that there is some hidden mess in the Tamron Hall show. And I believe Charlemagne says something to the effect that, you know, maybe she was trying to, you know, fill in for the space that Wendy Williams has left now that Wendy Williams' show is no longer on the air. And so Porsha, again, like I said, she felt like there was some hidden mess, you know, in the undercurrent of the show. People also reacted to how strongly Tamra pressed Larsa Pippen about her relationship with Michael Jordan's son. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys like this. And before we get into Lonnie Love checking Porsha, Tamron Hall, if you're going to go onto the Tamron Hall show, what you guys need to understand is that, yes, Tamron Hall is a journalist, but Tamron Hall is also going to ask the hard questions. She is going to press you until you answer the question, okay? Now, everybody has a different interviewing style, and you just have to understand that when you go to Tamron's show, she is going to ask you the unasked questions that may be on the minds of people on social media, people at home, the viewing audience. So when it came time for Porsha to do her interview with Tamron Hall, Tamron did not leave any stone unturned. And she definitely pressed Porsha about her getting married to Simon. So that's, I think, where a lot of this stems from, is that Porsha having her own experience with Tamron Hall and being forced to sort of really answer questions that people had not really pressed her about. I think that was uncomfortable for Porsha, and I can understand why. However, Tamron is going to get to the bottom of it. That's just who she is as an interviewer. Everybody, like I said, has a different style, and it just depends on what works for you, and that works for Tamron and her audience. So after Porsha had these things to say about Tamron Hall, Lonnie Love stepped into the chat. And Lonnie says, "For my book tours, I was interviewed by Gayle King and Tamron Hall. Both read my books because they had the books marked with notes. I was effing shocked and honored that they took the time to read it, but it helped to make a great interview. They are journalists," okay? And I'll pull it up and make it bigger so you guys can actually see it on the screen. So Porsha responded to that and said, "So touching." Now, that could be interpreted as shade. It definitely could. It definitely could be interpreted as the shade. You know what I'm saying? And I think Lonnie might have took it for the shade that it was. All right. Because then Lonnie said, "This is not about UP. And I hope you know that. This is about the fact that there is a difference between journalists and non-journalists. I'm an interviewer, but not a journalist. I have learned a lot by watching these women." It's funny to me, this idea of a journalist versus a non-journalist in this day and time when you have, so many people who are on social media, who are on, who have blogs, who provide information, who have now turned into their own media outlets. And I personally love it. I love it. There are no more gatekeepers keeping people behind the gates that want to report on the news that they see and provide commentary for what it is that they see for an audience that loves them. How about that? Boom. That's the first thing that I want to say. So this whole idea, yes, there is, listen, and I can say this because I studied journalism and mass communications in college. I studied it in grad school along with advertising and public relations. So yes, I've done the work. I've been in the field. I have done radio. I've done television. I have done it. But at the end of the day, I feel like sometimes I don't like that term, like, "Oh, well, they're a journalist." Yes, I do believe that Tamron is a journalist, and a doggone good one at that. But I don't think that there's ever any need to sort of make light of the fact that there are plenty of people now who report on news and entertainment, and they do it in their own way. Okay. I personally love it because, again, like I said, the gates are open. There are no more gatekeepers to who can do what in music, movies, film, television in general, because now the power is in the people's hands and we can do as we please. So I just wanted to leave you guys with that little message right there. Don't let nobody stop you from doing what you want to do. I respect Lonnie Love. I think that what she said is absolutely, I think it's on point in her defense of Tamron Hall, because I do think that there is a special skill that goes into, what it is that a lot of us do. However, and Tamron is definitely up there. Okay. let's not mistake that. But at the end of the day, okay, at the end of the day, I just think that you always want to never diminish anyone else and what they are doing because they may not have had the same background as another person. That's all I'm saying. And again, if the lesson for Porsha is you got to know where you're going before you do that interview, before you sign on that dotted line, because everybody is not going to give you, is not going to ask, do a puff piece, a fluff piece for you. Some people are going to really get down and into the weeds, and that's their specialty, and that's what they do. Okay. So I don't think that there's any hidden mess in Tamron Hall's show. I think she's just going to get to the question, and she knows good television. So with that being said, because we all talking about it. Okay. Now, with that being said, guys, listen, that's it for this video. Like I said, the Basketball Wives review will be up shortly. And with that being said, I will catch you all in the next video. So I'm Richie Skye, the author and publisher of The Wickedest Wives, Desiree's Desire, which is book 1 in a series. This book is about redemption. It's the story of a disgraced journalist who has lost everything. And now she has to rebuild her life brick by brick. And what better way to do that than to join a reality TV show? Why not? Now, not only are we talking reality TV, so you know there's going to be scandal, you know there's going to be a little bit of deception, backstabbing, a little romance, and why not throw in a sprinkle of murder to really round out the excitement? So I really want you guys to dive headfirst into these books. Desiree's Desire is just the first of many to come. So I'm super excited for you guys to read this, and I want to know exactly what you think. So be sure to follow, like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more.